Coach, hey, things are going really well for you guys. Undefeated league, you got the winning streaks. So coming back from that holiday break, you got to be pleased how 2014 has gone heading into the new year.
Yeah, off to a real nice start, and certainly a long way to go. But it's certainly nice to go into a holiday break and have that, a number of days off when you've performed well going into that. So that felt good. Hopefully, there's no drop off when you come back and get back into the action.
And kind of like one other question from the past, but facing San Bernardino, you get a win here, and then you go to their place. Obviously, they were looking for revenge, and you get a win there. So definitely a nice way to end, I guess, the month of December undefeated, and then getting into 2015.
Yeah, a really good team. I mean, those are really two quality wins, and obviously they hadn't lost going into that weekend to the first weekend when we played them here, and so to be able to back up our first performance with an even better performance down at their place was a credit to our kids. They're coming off the finals week, really dialed it up and got after it down there for one last game before the break and did a great job against San Bernardino.
All right, so you guys are back home New Year's Day, and pretty cool to play on New Year's. Dominguez coming up, a team that you guys are tied with 4-0 atop the conference. So you face a team before in San Bernardino, now facing Dominguez, another difficult opponent at your place.
Yeah, every game's the biggest game of the year kind of deal, right? Going on right now. So that's the mentality we've been trying to sell from the kids. And it's obviously very early, but early in the schedule here with the two teams that are 4-0, and so there's going to be one left standing at the end of the matchup on Thursday. But they're a really quality team. They're athletic. They shoot the ball well. They're well coached. So it'll be a nice contest for us on Thursday.
The gals coming back to practice after the week off, and just talk about getting them focused and kind of back into that basketball mode.
Yeah, this is probably the quickest turnaround we've had, just 3 days of practice. The NCAA has a certain number of days you have to take off over the break, and so everybody's in the same boat. Dominguez Hills is in the same situation. So 3 days of practice, and then we'll play the game. So really the first day is just called the blowout practice. You want to come and get the ball in their hand, get lots of shots up, get all the turkey and gravy out of their system, whatever they put into themselves over Christmas, and really not worry too much about performance as far as, are we running our action perfect in that. It's about getting the ball back in the hand, get some shots up, and really just kind of running a lot and getting the feel for it. Today, dial it in a little bit more, make sure our execution gets tightened up, and then tomorrow we need to be back in game form as we head into the weekend's games. But real happy with yesterday's blowout practice, and then today they bounced back and had a real good 2-hour session as well.
I have a bad memory, but have you guys ever, your guys' time here played on New Year's Day? Seems kind of...
I don't think so. Usually the conference will move it around one way or the other, and we talked to the conference about doing that, but all 4 schools that are playing that are involved in the weekend have to agree on that, and the four schools couldn't agree on that to move them like to a Friday, Sunday type of deal. So I don't know. Is there anything else going on New Year's Day? I don't know why you wouldn't watch the Ducks early and then come out and get your green and gold on here with us in the evening. Sounds like a perfect day to me.
I think that's a great plan. Football and hoops at night. You can't beat that. Well, that's fine, guy.
Coach, so you mentioned coming out of the break and trying to get them refocused. Is it tough to have a game of this magnitude so quickly out of the break, or is it good that it might snap them out of whatever break they were in?
No, I don't think so. I think it doesn't matter. Like I said, both teams are in the same boat. They've had the same number of days to prepare. We're a veteran group. We've got juniors and seniors that have been through this and had a lap around the conference. So there's no excuse, I think. And they're the same. Dominguez Hills has most of their team back, so they're going to be prepared and ready. So I don't think it matters as far as the quality of the opponent coming back on short notice. We're aware of what we have to do, and so is Dominguez Hills. I think the importance of players maybe getting a jog in or two over the break is emphasized in the situation, just so that we are, not at any disadvantage going in off of that. But I shouldn't see any relevance based on who the opponent is on coming back.
Well, I was going to ask, do you give them any sort of conditioning routine as far as running or anything like that goes over the break?
Yeah. No, we don't. What we told them is you need to do what you need to do. And for some of those players, they needed some time off. Their bodies are sore. We're coming 2 or 3 months of 6 days a week. Specifically, there are 2 or 3 girls we told them you need to shut it down and just have the whole time off. Other than that, no. If you need to run, you need to get out and run. If you need some time off, you need to do that yourselves. Get a ball in your hand, go shoot some free throws, those types of things. So I think maybe you had a younger group, you might give them a directive exactly what they need to do, but this group is pretty self-motivated and just gave them directions to be prepared to go when they came back. And based on what we saw yesterday, they did that.
So they didn't really look yesterday like like, oh, well, this group has definitely, not played basketball or done anything for a week or so.
Yeah, I think I mentioned to him, it even kind of looked like basketball for part of it. I've come back to a lot of those practices where it doesn't look like basketball. It just looks like running and touching. And I think when I was young I think I'd panic a little bit more if we didn't come back and we're crisp. But we've been through it now a number of times in a number of years that you just kind of know that's the routine. They're going to get back, they're going to run, they're going to touch the ball. And yesterday was, based on my experience, a pretty good first day back. So as far as worried about Russ and that kind of stuff, there's no concern with that.
So do you expect, I guess in that regard, to have to maybe rely on your bench any more than normal, just, if their legs aren't necessarily under the starters as much?
Yeah, and I think that's an advantage that we have, and so I do think that there could be a week as far as gameplay goes to get a little bit of wind back off of that one. Certainly the scrimmaging that we've been doing is called a no whistle scrimmages these last couple of days. We don't blow a lot of whistles for them to catch their breath. We want them running up and down, so we've been trying to really emphasize that in the last 2 days of scrimmages. Obviously, we'll back that down a little bit tomorrow so that their legs are fresh for Thursday. But I think that a deeper rotation would come into an advantage coming off of a break like that. And obviously, that's something that we have, but so does Dominguez Hills.
Specifically looking at Dominguez Hills, one of the things I noticed about them, just looking at their stats over the season, is that they're a pretty strong rebounding team. Is that something you saw and have to really take in consideration, or do you think that won't play too much of a factor?
They're similar to what we saw with San Bernardino last week, but I think they could shoot the ball a little bit better. I think San Bernardino was super athletic, really good to the basket, led the conference in offensive rebounding going into those 2 games. Maybe a step back off of these guys as far as athleticism goes with Dominguez Hills, but not much difference from that San Bernardino team. But they do shoot the 3-point shot a little bit better than the San Bernardino team does. So, as far as getting in front of those athletes, you got to be a little bit more aware about who you're guarding, because they do have a couple more shooters on the floor at all times. So those rotations and flying to shooters and those types of things will have to be done a little bit better than what you can do against San Bernardino, because the 3-point shot isn't as much their game as it is Dominguez Hills.
Wilcox, leading scorer last year, and right now, just over 7 a game. It honestly isn't. If that had been like, hey, she would be scoring 7, maybe we've been concerned, but just all around with distributing the ball, and then the players that have stepped up, the new players, and Foster and Breer, and those players, she's definitely been a role player. Like I said, kind of distributing the ball, and she's meant a lot.
Yeah, I'd never call Kersey a role player as far as that goes, because she's still, it goes through Kersey. She sets a lot of our action up. Our turnovers are way down because we can ask her to do a little bit less this year. So as a team, we're running a little bit more action for some different people. But make no mistake, Kersey Wilcox is a huge, important cog in the wheel, and we've never given her any directive of, hey, we want you to score less and distribute more. That's just kind of a nature of what the team is and the opportunities that come to her. Maybe she doesn't have to force as many. I think we had to go through her a little bit more than we would like to last year, but it was nice to see her have a 15-point game down at San Bernardino, to know that when we do need her to come in and make plays, that she was able to step up and produce. And that was, we had some foul trouble from some other people, and she was able to pick up her game and add those points when we needed them.